Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gassy Jack Gear Reviews. Thanks for tuning in. Have a bit of a surprise for a viewer here. They've been asking for a comparison when they saw my SDGM003 video, the one on the right hand side here. They asked if I could do a comparison video between that and the SARB33. Now the problem was, I don't own a SARB33, but a friend of mine does. And she was gracious enough to give me the watch or lend me the watch. So I decided to do a video on these two, a comparison video. So let's start on the left-hand side here, and I'm going to start with the bezel. You can see here, I'm going to do a close-up here. Now, it has some scratches and buffs on it and stuff like that. It's a daily wear, okay? But that's not the point. The point is that it's polished on the top, okay? It kind of just tapers down to another polish. Okay, it's simple. It does the job. Okay. And these two watches you're going to see are very similar, which is the reason the viewer wanted the video, but there's a lot of differences. If we look over here, you'll notice my watch is in quite good condition, and it's because I have a rotation going and I don't really wear each watch more than a day or two unless I'm traveling. And I travel infrequently. Let me see here. So this bezel you see it's more squared off, okay, and it has polished upper. Okay, you can see the polishing, and then it has a brushed side to it, and you can see if you can get the right light here. It's nighttime, so I have these crappy lights going, but you can see it's quite a nice bezel. We're going to go back to the SARB33, and we're going to look at the case. So the sides of the case here, you can see they kind of they slope up, cut across it, and slope back down. So it's kind of just wing back and forth. Does that make any sense? Let's put it to the side, you can see. Okay, you can see the bottom there polished, and the top is polished as well. Top of the side, I should say. Okay, so let's see. If you're looking on the right, sorry, the left-hand side there, let's see if I can kind of get an angle where you can kind of see the shape of it. Okay. And it's polished, and then it's like a raised edge. Okay, you can see along here into the top. Sides as well as the lugs are brushed. Okay, so polished all on the side, raised edge, and then brushed top. If we go over to the SDGM here, again, you're going to see more detail. So, again, let's look a side profile. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, so you can see the bottom is polished, and then there's a side to it, and then there's a top to it. It's different. This is different. I'm going to show you. Okay, so if we look at the side here, it's polished on the bottom. The side is then brushed. The top is polished. So polished bottom, brushed middle, polished top, and then it goes directly. You can see that's the whole side of the case at the top is polished. So that top component, I really need a pointer here. I should have thought about that. So it's polished on the bottom, brushed on the side, polished on the top, and you can see how it goes across the side there. There's a difference. See on the SARB there, it's polished, but then that brushing here connects on the side, the top right there. It goes right through, whereas that SDGM did not. It was polished, brushed, polished at the top of the sides. and then going into brushing on the lugs. Okay, on the top. The lugs here, you can see drilled lugs. No drilled lugs. Drilled lugs make it much easier to take the strap off, the bracelet off, and put other options like leather straps or another bracelet if there's one available, things like that. I have mixed opinions. On a dive watch, when it would make sense to change the metal bracelet out maybe for a NATO or something like that. I get that. You want to have, you want to make it easier. However, on a dressier watch, for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm thinking, I've been eyeballing on Chrono 24 a Datejust, or looking at Datejusts 16234s. And if you know the 16234, which is the predecessor to the current one, or the latest predecessor to the current one, pre-1995, I think they made them from 95 to 87 to 2005, I think. Chime in if you know. But from, say, if it was 87 to 1994, they didn't have, or they had drilled lugs. And then from 95 to 2005, they didn't have drilled lugs in that Datejust 16234. And I am kind of debating, like, do you want the drilled lugs or don't you want the drilled lugs? For me, I wouldn't remove the bracelet. So for me, I'm like, probably wouldn't want the drilled lugs. Does it really take away from the aesthetics that much? Like, if I found one for, a really, I'm not gonna say a really, really good price, because the internet has leveled the playing field, I think, and made everything more fair as far as prices go. But if I found one that was, say, a few $100s cheaper than with drilled lugs versus without drilled lugs, I'd probably still pull the trigger on the one with the drilled lugs, the pre-95. So I don't think it's that big a deal as far as aesthetics go, and functionally it is better. No one can argue that. Functionally, it makes it easier for you to remove the pins to take the bracelet off. Let's get back to this. Let's look at the crowns. So the crown on the SARB33 is nicely squared off. Okay, it has the S engraved there. Nice action on it. Okay, if we take a look at this SDGM003, it actually sticks out quite a bit more. Okay, it's a longer crown. It's got this faux onyx on it. Okay, and again, great action. The actions are feel pretty much identical, and they probably should, because they have the same movement. They have the in-house, the Seiko in-house 6R15C movement. Great movement. I really like this movement. Very reliable. Seems to be fairly accurate. So, got no complaints with the movement. You can see they both have the date. Okay, that's part of the complication of that movement. Okay, they both have Dauphine hands. Okay, the seconds hand are a little different. You can see. Let's get these close up then. I actually going to say, what do I prefer? I guess it's subjective, but you can take a look at them. The real difference is the head of the shorter end of the seconds hands. The SARB33 actually has, I would say, a more detail. Oh, let me see. Let's get them really close. It's flashy. It's like it's got that little triangular piece to it. Okay, whereas the SDGM, it's much more plain. If I get up real close here, and I have to be careful because I'm looking off camera right now. Okay, without blinding you with lights. Okay. So I'm looking off camera right now. I don't think one's higher quality than the other, so it's going to be your call. Let's look at the dials though. In that light, this is actually, although these are really crappy lights, they're bringing out something here that I wanted to bring out. Can you see how that looks like a dark, dark brown? I think it is. I'm looking off camera right now, and even on camera, it looks dark, dark brown. It looks like a dark chocolate brown. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if they say it's a black dial or not. And you can see the dial in this. The dial in the SDGM has that sundial, and it's just beautiful. And again, it looks like dark, dark chocolate here. So it probably is, but you get it outside and it looks black usually, and then it can even look almost like a dark, 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 and you can see some like blue reflections, I guess. I don't know if that's from the sapphire crystal. The Dauphine hands here, I'm going to say, are actually quite a bit nicer. You can see that. Let me see here. So they're brushed on the top and then a polished blade. Can you see that? Let me put this other one down. Let me see if that picks it up. Okay, so you can see that polishing on the edge. It looks like they really look like blades. And then it's actually brushed on the top. A lot of details on this watch. Whereas the Dauphine hands on here, though, they do have lume on them. Okay, but they're not nearly as refined, but they're dandy. They're very, very nice, though. I'm not putting this watch down that like the I'm just making a comparison, like which one, like if it has more refinements, I'm going to tell you. But then this one has lume. This one doesn't have any lume, okay? On the indices or anything, okay? You're in the dark there. This one here, even on those stick indices, you can see they do have lume attached to them. Some people don't like that on it, like on a dress watch, and they like say if you have stick lume, either they should all be filled in with lume or they shouldn't have any lume at all. Some people get a little crazy with that. I don't know. To me, it doesn't bother me at all, and it gives you illumination at night. I think it does a really good job. It's not too much, but it gets it done. Okay, and I don't know. It kind of looks nice. Kind of gives a nice accent. You can see the stick indices here on this one are longer on the SDGM, and where those indices, so where they're loomed here, they're actually beveled down here. You see them as we go around? Look up here at these ones as I turn them. You can kind of see them. Okay, they're cut downward. There's a lot of detail in this watch. So the bracelets. The bracelet here, fully brushed, except for right on the edges there. Right on the edges, you can see there's a little bit of polishing. I don't even know if it was, I don't know if they just wanted to kind of take the edge off or, make it smooth it out a bit, but there's a little polishing. And there's polishing on the outside, and they are pin and collar. If anyone has ever done pin and collar adjustments, the first time you do it, it's a bit of a pain, bit of a learning curve. As long as you have the right tools, it's easy. I did this, for my friend outside. We were having drinks at another friend's house on the patio when she first got this watch. I brought my tools, popped it in, popped them out, no problem. This one here, same thing, pin and collar, but a lot more detail on this bracelet. Let me just wipe this down for you. Okay, a lot more detail. So it's not as casual a watch, okay? So you have your polished outside, okay? And then you have your brushed tops of the outside links. The inside links are polished on the outside and brushed on the inside. And then you can kind of see here. Look how they slant down at the ends of them. They're cut down, so it kind of gives it like a squared off appearance. Like, it's very, very, very nice. I want to take a look at the clasps here. So let's look at the clasp on the SARB33. Double deployment, milled, okay? It has 2 adjustments here. I think it should have 3, okay? I had what I think is this bracelet on my Alpinist, my SARB33. I got rid of the bracelet eventually because I couldn't get a perfect fit. It was either too tight or too loose, and it drove me nuts. So I finally got rid of it, and I went for a Jubilee bracelet from Strap Code. On this watch, the SDGM, double deployment, and so we should probably look at these two. So you can see on the SARB, need to pay attention what I'm doing here off camera. On the SARB, okay, as far as the fit and finish, it's fairly flat on that side, and then on this side you can see it has that raise, right? It's not bad though. I mean, compared to other watches, actually, it's not bad at all. It lies pretty good, pretty flat, but nothing compared to the SDGM003. It lies completely flat. Okay, there is no, like, it's flat on the top. Okay, where I think it lacks, it's double deployment. Okay, it's got the nice Seiko there. Whereas that one's, looks like it's stamped. This one is milled here. Okay, it's much more refined. It's got the, I would say it's pretty much the same clasp here. Let's take a quick look here. There is very little difference. You can see this one is scalloped on the edge over here. For what reason? Okay, so the reason, they've actually thought about this. It's so that it's not cutting on your arm there. They've thought about that. That's nice. But I don't think you really feel this, over here. If we were to look at this, well, it's actually significantly sharper, actually, but you don't notice it. I haven't noticed it, but it is significantly sharper. This doesn't have any adjustments. Here's the downfall of this watch in my eyes, and the downfall, I'll be honest, of a lot of the majority of the watches out there. So it has half links. Right now, this watch is fitting me fine. Okay. It may slide down a bit. I have 6 3/4 to 6 7/8 inch wrists, no fat on them, and because of that, my watches tend to slide around if they don't have a perfect fit. And I mean perfect. 2 millimeters will make a world of difference for me. And I don't know if you guys are the same, but if you are, you know it can drive you crazy. And if your watch slides down, like it did now, I don't want it by my hand like that. I have that little nub there. I keep my watches behind that nub. And that nub will help it from coming down, but it has to be a perfect fit. I'm not getting a perfect fit from this watch. And because of that, depending on, the weather, if it's hot outside, this watch will fit me better because my wrist will be slightly larger. But in the wintertime, this watch doesn't fit me perfectly, which drives me a little crazy because I really like to wear it, and I don't get to wear it very much. I have to have a good wrist day. Bad hair day, bad wrist day. So my bad wrist days are when my wrists are skinnier than normal. And my wrists are skinnier than normal to begin with, but you know what I mean. I'm getting crazy here. Anyway, so as far as the bracelets go, much more casual bracelet on the left-hand side, as it's a much more casual watch. Much fancier, high-quality bracelet on the right-hand side, but there's no adjustments. There's two, but what are they, 2 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, something like that, adjustment on here. And it makes a difference for guys with no fat wrists. If you don't, it's not a factor. Then if you have a little bit of fat on your wrist or any at all, then the SDGM is with no adjustments won't give you a problem. But I did go to the on my Alpinist, and surprise, on my Alpinist I did go for a Jubilee bracelet from Strapcode, which I'm completely thrilled with. Has a ton of adjustments here, and you know what? When you look at them, you're like, oh, you got all those holes on the side of that clasp. Yeah, but it's on the bottom of your wrist, so you really never notice it. It has sharp edges here. It doesn't have the scallop like the SDGM. Double deployment and a nice lock. I'm really impressed with this Strapcode bracelet. I would recommend this for any Alpinist owners out there. I would totally recommend that that bracelet. I'll do another review. I might even do a review against the SARB33. I'm going to put that off in the side there, though. What else can I say about this? We've gone through the hands, the indices. They both have the same movement, that in-house 6R15C with the date there. It looks like they got the exact same date. Let me see the date windows there. Date windows look to be identical. Okay. You got the seconds track on the SARB on the left-hand side here. A little more, I don't know, doesn't look as refined. And let me see here. It looks like... So on the left-hand side, on the SARB, if I'm looking at these and my eyes aren't playing tricks on me, they look like painted white there. I don't know if they're painted silver on the SDGM003. They just look like they're... I might be going crazy. Maybe they're the same. No, they do look silver. They look like painted silver. They look more metallic on the SDGM003. And they look white on the SARB. And on camera, they look white, but in person, they look, on the SDGM here on the right, they look like metallic. Not that I'm saying they're steel, but they look like they're painted with metallic paint, whereas this one looks like it's painted with white paint. Seconds track. Could be wrong. You can see on that one, it says automatic 23 joules in kind of italic. On the SDGM, it just says automatic in, I don't know, what do you call it, regular script? I don't know. And it doesn't say how many joules, but it is the same movement. At the top, you can see Seiko. And Seiko, they are, let me see, they're both look to be very shallow applied Seiko. Can you see that? I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but actually it looks like it's picking up more on camera than off camera. They're applied. Those Dauphine hands, you have the Dauphine hands here. I said you can see them. They are brushed on the top and then cut and polished on the edge. Brushed on the top, cut and polished on the edge, and they're beautiful. On the SARB33, they are cut on the edge, and then they have loom. Okay, you can see them. So if you like loom, the SARB has loom. The SDGM does not have loom. Let's go to the back. So we'll open up this SARB33. We see the exhibition case back. That's a hard Lux crystal on the back. And you can see that 6R15 movement. Okay. I haven't even looked at this, to be honest. I haven't looked at the movement in this one. What I mean by that is I want to see, is there any difference in finishing? Let's take a look at this. Is there any difference in finishing? Okay, on the actual movement, no. Is there any difference in finishing on the rotor? Let me see. I can put one down. You guys are going to be pissed at me. Okay, the rotor. There. And the rotor here. Nope, they're the same. So they both have hard Lux exhibition case backs. On the front, though, you have sapphire crystals. Okay. This one on the right-hand side, it has AR reflective coating on it, top and bottom. I don't believe it has AR coating on the SARB. I could be wrong. I don't think it does. I think that's the difference in the crystals. No AR coating versus AR coating. I'm pretty sure, but pipe in if you have a SARB33, tell me. I could be completely wrong here, but I think that's what the difference is. 39 millimeter as opposed to 41 millimeter. In the world of watches, you know, you'd say, 2 millimeters does make a big difference. It actually does make a big difference in these watches. If you have larger watches, I would totally, larger wrists, I would totally recommend this one. If you have a 7.5-inch wrist or bigger, I don't know, this one here, even on maybe I'm just used to it, used to larger watches. On my wrist, I think it looks okay. The SARB. But I wouldn't really recommend it for anyone with larger wrists. Like, geez, like even, I don't know. It wears like a small 39. I'll be honest. It's going to be interesting because I'm looking at that Rolex 16234, which is a 36 millimeter. And because of the shape of its case, though, it wears, it's at least it's supposed to wear much larger. I haven't tried one on yet. Whereas this 41 millimeter, I'd say wears like a 40. Wears really nice. So as far as the differences go, there's, I mean, if you look, everything about the SDGM is more refined, except for the movement. But every other aspect of the watch is more refined. If you were looking for casual watching, like, you know what, I'm going to wear it every day, I don't mind if it gets bumped and scratched up a bit, I would totally recommend the SARB33. If you're looking at a watch that isn't going to be your everyday watch and you're going to use it for dressier occasions or casual dress, then I would totally recommend the SDGM003. Although the SDGM003 is discontinued. You can, I think there's 2 on eBay right now. I've seen them go for, on the highest end in Canadian funds on eBay, I've seen them asking $1,600. On the lowest end, I've seen $980 recently. So they have, they're increasing in value. I think they're a good investment. You're never going to lose your money on the SDGM003, I don't think. It's a beautiful watch. It's very, I mean, if you like Grand Seikos, but you don't have, you can't get the funds together for a Grand Seiko, but you don't mind spending, say, $1,200 Canadian on this watch, I'll be honest, this thing, I haven't put it side by side with the Grand Seiko, but the finishing on this watch is, you get a lot of watch for that money. The finishing is unbelievable. I would put this against many $5,000 watches at any time during the week and say that this one will fit and finish looks better than a lot of those watches. So this one here, I think, is about 400 to 450 Canadian. The SARB, the SDGM, like I said, it's going for anywhere between $1,000 and $1,600. So it's much pricier, but you know where you spent your money. So it's really, it's complete preference. But like I said, here are some of the differences. You have any questions, chime in and I will do my best to answer them. Anyway, it's been another Gassy Jack gear review. Thanks for tuning in and please subscribe. Bye-bye.